we might spend a lifetime of bitterness, a lifetime of being held back or trapped in the past because we're waiting for someone else to change.
My name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That is fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why. Brought to you by the Healthy Marriage Project. Just click on one of their ads to find out about a healthy relationship workshop near you.
Little Blues?
Yeah, this is C2C. They're actually French, and I don't normally like much that comes out of France. but they're very funky. They're really cool. And they sound like, it's just a very weird combination of like Disney sounds and the blues. You'll hear that? Like, yeah, it's cool. It's a cool song. I added new music. I was tired of my old music. Okay, welcome back to the Channel Mom Show, where we are here for you, Mom, right here on Mile High Sports Radio, AM 1510, FM 93.7. We have fabulous people in the house today. I really, really, really believe, I've even prayed that people would tune in today that could be helped by the show, because I think forgiveness kills people. Unforgiveness kills people. And people that have people that they're bearing grudges against, or old issues that they can't get over, or an event that happened in their lives that maybe they can't even forgive God for. Or maybe they're just generally unforgiving. Like, I can't believe that happened to me. I hate my life, or whatever it is. It kills them internally. I mean, they've proven these things can deter or be detrimental to your physical health.
It kills other relationships too. I mean, it can be a sad, lonely life.
Yeah. So this woman, and believe me, I've been voraciously reading through this because I have people in my life I need to forgive, and I want to do it. You know, you have to reach that point too, by the way, where you're willing. Some people are like, forget it. They don't deserve forgiveness. I'm not doing it, you know. But I think for your health, it's a good idea to stay tuned and learn, right?
It is about yourself, really.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the person you're forgiving doesn't care if they're forgiven.
That's right. And so you don't want to do it selfishly, but at the same time, Joyce Meyer, who I'm a fan of, says you're really helping yourself when you forgive somebody, not even the other person necessarily. You're helping yourself. We now have a wonderful guest coming up. I don't know what to call her. She's got like 3 names, but T. Suzanne Eller, or Susie Eller, is an author and popular parenting columnist, speaker, radio host, and a mom and a grandma, most importantly. And she also works for Proverbs 31 Ministries, both as a speaker and a writer. She's written books, including The Mom I Want to Be. I totally get that title. And her most recent book, The Unburdened Heart, Finding the Freedom of Forgiveness. And that's exactly what we're talking about on the show today. Welcome to the Channel Mom Show, Suzanne.
Good morning. And you can call me Susie. Friends call me Susie.
Yeah, and you kind of look like a Susie. She has the cutest. You cannot believe she's a grandma, because she looks like she's like 28. You have become a student of forgiveness, I think. I mean, you really studied it for this book, and you went to a lot of people with examples. And I'm putting you on the spot here, but can you think of one thing in all the research that you've done in your book, The Unburdened Heart, that you would say makes it the most difficult to forgive? What is universal about us that we say, I can't do it. I can't do it. What is the thing that stops us?
Oh, that's actually easy. We're waiting for someone else to say they're sorry before we're ready to forgive.
Wow.
Yeah, it is the universal thing. We need it. We feel we need it. We need someone to say they're sorry. We need for them to acknowledge that what happened shouldn't have. And the sad thing about that is that we might spend a lifetime of bitterness, a lifetime of being held back or trapped in the past because we're waiting for someone else to change before we do.
Yeah. Can I ask you this? I was also thinking about it because there's some repeated things in my life where the same issues keep coming up between me and 1 or 2 other people. And I think, what is it that makes it so hard? It makes me kind of mad that I have to forgive them. And I know I have to. My Christian faith tells me this is something that I need to do both for me and the other person. But I think pride, like there's something that says in you, well, they were more wrong than me, or they're a worse person than me, or I've never done anything that bad. And there's something that you just hold on to, like I'm better than they are. Why should I have to lay it all down and say, it's okay, I forget, is there pride?
Well, sure. Well, I think what we struggle with, one, is that people tend to look at us and say, just forgive. And they do that whether it is somebody dinged your car at Walmart or if you've been physically abused by someone who should have nurtured you instead, that people just kind of throw out this pithy statement, just forgive. So we don't even really know what that means. Do we put our mind to it? Do we say it 1,000 times a day? And the thing is if somebody is continually abusing you physically, or if there's a place where you're in a situation to where somebody is doing evil, forgiveness is not allowing that abuse to continue. And that's really important that we know that. There are times that we love from a distance, we forgive from a distance. It's what happens in our heart. It is ceasing to feel the burden of resentment that feels like 1,000 pounds of bricks on your shoulders. So there are those times that we do have to set boundaries. There are those times that we do get to speak truth. But the reality is, what does God want to do in your heart? Let God fix them.
Yeah.
What does God want to do in your heart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does he want you to be free? I want to be free, and I share that, I share my story, actually, in the Mom I Want to Be and in this. Grew up in a home with a beautiful broken mom, and my family tree honestly looks like it's been hit by a hurricane. It's just this gnarled mess of addiction and mental illness, and women having babies too young and picking the wrong man, and basically handing to their daughter or their child this legacy that says, it's all I had to give you, do the best you can. Mm-hmm. But when I held my daughter in my arms for the first time, what I wanted more than anything else was to grow a new branch of my family tree. And that kept leading me to this word. That prayer kept leading me to the word forgiveness.
Yeah. Yeah, to get beyond your past. Go ahead, Shelley. Shelley has a question.
Susie, what about when there's been times where I thought I had forgiven someone, and then it comes back. If I see them or I think of it or something, and I thought I was over this.
What a great question. I'm so glad you asked that, because there are those times that there are those instant miracles. But for most of us, it's a lifetime of growth. It's funny. It's scary when you write a book on forgiveness. It is, because you're faced with the fact that there are always new opportunities to forgive. And so as I go through life, if something comes up and it hits me, and here's those old feelings all over again, I have the opportunity at that moment to either completely make that a guilt trip and say, oh man, I thought I was okay, I thought I was well, or I can say, I'm an emotional being, and here's another opportunity that I'm going to work through, and I'm going to come out on the other side, and I'm going to do it in a healthy way, and I'm going to be a stronger woman because of it. So we are going to face feelings. We are going to face emotions. It's what we do with them that's really key.
I wanted to read that quote by William P. Young, who wrote The Shack, because it goes along with what Shelley's saying. You have it in your book. You may have to declare your forgiveness 100 times the first day, and the second day, but the third day will be less, and each day after, until one day you will realize that you have forgiven completely. But it's true, it's a repetitive thing, almost always.
Well, I just remember for me, I'm standing in that hospital room, I'm saying, God, what a miracle, this little baby girl. God, please help me grow a new branch of my family tree. And basically I was kind of crying out to God, help me not mess this up.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to give her what I had been given and my mom had been given before me. And as I began to forgive, and that's been a lifetime process.
Yes.
There were days that I put that down daily. I would look at it and say, I do not want this. I don't want bitterness to be a part of my life. I don't want anger. I don't want rage. And so I would put it down. But there came a day, and this was really exciting to me, that as I went to pick it back up, I looked at it and thought, you know what? I recognize you for what you are. You have held down generations of women in my family. You're not holding me down.
Yeah.
And 2.5 years ago, when I rushed to the hospital when my first grandbaby, was going to be born, and they placed this second little mini version of my daughter in my arms, blonde hair, blue-eyed, it hit me that as far back as she could see, she had a healthy family tree. And it was worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, it is worth it.
It's hard, but it's worth it.
Yeah. I want people to know that this book is really a guide to move you from step A to step Z in forgiveness. I mean, I've been reading pages over and over and thinking, okay, I have to take this step first, and I have to do this. And there's no cookie cutter way, and you admit that, but there are some really key things that we can do. And so I appreciate that about you. And one is that you said something about you don't have to surrender the feelings or you don't have to make it about the person. You surrender yourself to God, and you say, okay, I can't do this. I want to do it.
Right.
I want to forgive. But there's something about like saying out loud, I can't do this. I really want to forgive. So I'm just giving myself to you, God, because I know these are wrong feelings.
You might be at a place where you're saying, I absolutely cannot do this on my own. And what I say to you is you're absolutely right. There are times that we cannot do it on our own. It is too big. So those are the times that we just stand before God and say, you know what, I cannot do this on my own, but I'm willing to take the step toward wherever you want to take me. So today I surrender every thought, I surrender my heart, I surrender my past, I surrender my present, and I surrender my future to you. Let's take off together. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah. It's a good place to be, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Suzanne, you're coming back with us, yes?
Yes.
Also, check us out on ChannelMom.com. We've got some past interviews you'd like. Dr. Emerson Egerich, Gretchen Carlson of Fox News, Michelle Duggar of 19 Kids and Counting. Some good stuff. When we come back, our guest mom host, Stephanie Ritter, is going to get a few words in about what she wants to ask about forgiveness. And, of course, Shell will be with us. So stay tuned for more. When we come back, we're going to have an incredible story for you of one person, actually two people, forgiving somebody that most of us would say did something unforgivable when we come back.
Blood he shed.